Well, hello. Welcome to a very out of place, confused Peppers Echo. My name's Andre, and how are you, wonderful, wonderful, absolutely extraordinary, fantastic people out there doing tonight, this afternoon, should I say, tonight for me? Let's take a look. Linda van Rooyen. How's it going, Linda? How are you keeping? Always good to see you. Buzzy, my favorite lady, how's you keeping? Who else? Debbie Murray. How are you keeping, Debbie? Nick Miller. Away, Master Kinders, says Nick. Ja, Master Kinders doen alles reg. Altyd reg, Toyota. Hendo, my favorite South African European. Pravin, Hendo, yes. No, good stuff. Marlene Kruger, and very nice to have you. And our very, very, very good 6-star Michelin chef, Arbot. How's it going, my friend? Don't have cameo, so if someone can tell me, hopefully the sound is right, because I am in an absolute strange place. I have bashed my sounds, my laptop up in somebody's sort of like spare room, come storage room, come corner thing. As you can see, there's no light on me whatsoever. Excuse me. Yeah. But Pepper's Echo is always confused on a Sunday, stumbling out of the bed. Stumbling to the bed, more like it is at the moment. But yeah, so I've tried to knock this sort of up, I've still got the little bouncing table up as well. Hopefully it doesn't bounce so much. In this sort of like spare room, storage room type of thing. And then I have... at great speed tried to put together this mic that I borrowed from DVD that we packed up to pull across, because we are eventually out of our house. We have no home. You are now looking... This is why I'm not shaved and I look so bad at the moment today. I have to fit in with a homeless look, and we are officially homeless at the moment. Yeah, why am I still sick? I don't know. Moving stress makes me sick. I'm not the easiest moving person that there is under the sun. So trying to put everything together, the whole toots. Hello, my wifey. Here's my beautiful wifey. She's been doing 90% of the moving work there, because I decided to get sick in the process as well. So thank you very, very much to her. Without her, I don't think the house would be as spick and span and clean. And I must say that we were very, very fortunate, which I was stressing my absolute bum off to get our deposit back, because all due to my wife, everything was put together. Do a Bart Simpson look on us? I don't know. But yeah, I have a Bart Simpson, because as I say, doing the homeless look. But yeah. But yeah, so yeah, we're officially homeless. So we are taking donations. I'll put up a scan thing over here, and I'm kidding, I'm joking, but yeah. I don't know. Let's see, maybe that's somebody to tell me my sound is gone for a ball, because I don't know. I really don't know. So I had a thing, but I'll find out later. Maybe the wifey runs upstairs and comes bashing in here if something's wrong. Hopefully the sound's right. Hopefully you guys get entertained tonight, because once again, yes, Hendo, I have not prepared anything. But as I said, I'm officially homeless. I am penniless. I'm waiting for tomorrow to at least get some kind of payment into my bank account. The dogs are oblivious to their stinking little rich asses. The poochers. No, poochers don't sing for donations. They just sit there and wipe their special bums on dollar bills. That's what they do, because that's why we're homeless. Truthful lips endure forever. I need to find this button. Just hang on. There we go. You see, I got a thing almost similar to Chris's one there. So yeah, so I still got some breathing problems when it comes to getting through. Mostly in the evening, and when I'm lying down is a big problem. And Yeah, fortunately, my vape has only got 3 milligrams nicotine in it. So, and it's got some kind of, it's got called Cola Beats, this one. So it's got some kind of little bit of ice in it or whatever. I need Chris to donate his, as he's in SA and has a new one too. Has he got a new one? I need to get Chris's one. He's got like this little button on the top. Hopefully, when I get to China, I can get. How's it, Cameron? How are you keeping? I was just wondering where my sound man is. But good to see you. But yeah, so hopefully when I get there, then I will hopefully get a mic sorted out, and I will get a second monitor, because at the moment, as you see, what you've been watching is not coming up as much as what I need to, because I can't split the screen 500 times on my laptop. So I end up just telling you about it as such. Excuse me. But yeah, as I said, officially homeless, but I I'm trying to do as many streams as what I can to keep going, so that when I do go down, it's not a whole lot of streams down. So next weekend, I should be streaming in exactly the same spare room place, whatever. Hopefully, a little bit better setup than what I was when I started here now, but otherwise, no problem at all. Good to see you all again. Yeah, so tell me something. When is something a good conversation piece? How do you converse about things? Are you negative about things? Do you need to prove people wrong? Do you hold conspiracies up against them? I was just listening, and I was actually listening to people talking about gaming these days. And the one guy was talking about, you know what, when the one game decides, somebody decides it's an absolute terrible game, then the next one's going to be much better, and this one sucks, and etc. etc. And this is why. And somebody brought up the other thing, so I'm going to now probably bring streaming from a dungeon. No, my nose just feels like a stalactite fell out of it. But yeah, um, but you know what? It all depends on what happens. So I was looking at the gaming point of view, and I'm going to look at a couple of different points of view, and I probably might step on a few toes, and I'm definitely sorry if I do as we go through this. But I want to take a look at how we perceive things, and do we perceive things uh, to be right or to be consistent? Now, what's the difference between right and being consistent? Being right means it is so. Being consistent means it doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong. It's my point of view, and I will keep it that way. I've taken a look at a form of gaming where someone actually brought that up now as well, and it said, you know what, doesn't matter whether it's wrong or right, or it's getting better or it's getting worse, or we actually have an opinion on it. This is actually terrible, and it stays that way no matter how much it is fixed or anything to that effect. Then I actually took a look, and one of the things that I've looked at is a lot of China as well. I've got people who are telling me that I'm going to the world's biggest human concentration camp. I have got people who cannot believe that I will go to such a manipulated, or how should I say, a controlled country. I have got people who tell me that I am going to die with a workload, and that is all that they care about there, and I'm going to have absolutely zero life. I have been sent videos where they have Chinese students being taught how to put together guns because they want to kill Americans when they become big, is what they say on camera. This is what happens in schools, and etc. etc. Fish-based, fish-based, fish-based. And then I've also seen videos of why China is better. And I've also seen people who have actually worked there who are just damn happy to be there. It doesn't matter who's better and who's not better. It's I chose to come here, and I'm happy with it. I'm going to now, what I would say is personal electric fence when I tell you something else. Every time somebody dies of a stroke, heart attack, anything, any form of organ failure, anything to that effect these days, the same way they used to in the past. They used to die from heart attacks, they used to die from strokes, they used to die from organ failure, and all kinds of things in that as well. The only difference is these days it is the fault of the vaccination. You got a COVID vaccination, you will die. Is it? Or is it right, or is it being consistent? because it doesn't matter where you want to go these days, even debates. And if you take a look at general discussions and things like that, you can find as much as what you want to about something. It's not what is right these days, it's how much you can compel people to believe you. That's all you need to do. So are you actually, you know what, why are you against the vaccine? Does it make you die? Uh, have you seen it? Has it happened to someone around you? As much as what you've seen people around you or close by to you die from COVID, I haven't had one person die around me from the vaccine. I have had 3 or 4 people die around me from COVID. Is it because you feel that you're supporting a large company like Pfizer that would be exploiting the people for the absolute uh, um, I should say exploiting people for the vaccine? I didn't get Pfizer. I actually got Sinovac, which is from China. So I don't know. Does that put me on the wrong side of the fence, or does that guarantee that I won't get a heart attack? This is what I'm saying. The same as with China. You know what? Because I'm going there and because you have no knowledge about it, but what the rest of the internet has said about it, or what you feel more compelled, or that you need to stay consistent about something, is it's bad. And I know, as I said, I probably just peed on an electric fence. What's Endo say? I believe in conspiracy facts. Worse is awash with them. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. There we go. Let's take a look. Who may be lambasting me and who may not. When you are conversing, you have the option to either win the conversation or win the person. I hope that makes sense. Nick, you have no idea how much sense that makes to me. Very, very much so. I was speaking to people the other day, and it was like, was this right or was this wrong? Yeah, no, it was about that. No, wait, I'll Google it. And bam, 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 bam. We had to get on Google so that we can absolutely just trash the person. So I agree with you there. Is trashing a person worth more than a friendship? In the old days, before we had Google and cell phones and things like that, it was it that date? Was it this date? Or is this person there? Or did this person do that? And most probably did or most probably didn't. Yeah, your opinion, my opinion. That's cool. Let's go and have a beer. I agree with exactly. You make perfect sense there. Uh, when you're conversing, the option to win the conversation, to win the person. Definitely. Cameron, I guess you need to go and find out for yourself. Okay, I'm the same. When a woman has a bad rep, I don't listen to what people say. I'll make my own. Exactly, exactly. I think you need to find out for yourself. And I'm not saying I'm going to find the land of milk and honey. I might find the land of disaster. But I don't want to face it that way, because I do believe that what I focus on, I'll find, is the next thing. I really need to give everything a go to the very best of my ability. But we take a look at cancel culture these days. Let's take a look. And it's probably why I'm still single. Cam, bullshit. Driving me nuts. Agree. So not right. We are all vulnerable. And before, as many were dying of sudden heart attacks, fit or fat. Yeah, you know what? It's... why are we doing it? Are we doing it, as I said, are we saying that because some company might be benefiting from exploiting people, which once again, I'm even naming this without facts when I say Pfizer, because I don't even have figures to back myself up on. But I know people are going, well, they're making millions of money in this, etc., etc. But then what do people know about hypothesis as well? Because any scientific experiment is actually done through hypothesis. And so when you actually try this or you try that, the government's tried this, the government's tried that. Yes, they did exploit as well. I'm not saying no in that sense as well. So hi to my mom, Marlene, and my dad, Bill. Cameron. Hello, Cameron's mom, Marlene. I hope you're doing well. We've all been rooting for you. Hello, Bill. You have a phenomenally fantastic son, and I do believe you must be two wonderful people to have a son like that. Hello there. Okay. Let's see. Hendo, not against vaccines, not experimental gene therapy passed as vaccines, a hard pass. Yeah, as I say, I don't mind. There's a difference between how you feel about it and actually having a resentment or a fight about it. As I say, my opinion is my opinion. I'm not going to tell you what it is or how it is. I'm giving you devil's advocate a lot of the time over here. So it's up to you to decide what my opinion would be. But all I'm saying is, all the people who died from organ failure, heart attacks, cancer, blood clots through the vein, all of a sudden the blood clot was now the fault of the really. What happened beforehand? Was it maybe the measles? I could probably say yes. I understand that maybe like a big corporation could be exploiting people for the sake of the sale of the vaccine, maybe. And that would be which corporation, because one corporation makes one kind of vaccine and others make others. And I paid absolutely zero for mine. So I have been exploited zero. I've been vaccinated 3 times. And I'm moving to China, where apparently I don't know who can decide whether it started in China or if it was carried over by the Americans to China, or what conspiracy theory it is. Does it matter? Is it going to make you and I less friends if that matters? If that matters, will it change the world? The world experienced a pandemic. Yeah, we've got a lot of conspiracies on that pandemic, and we can have a lot of conversations about it. But is it worth losing friendships about? And that is my question. Is it worth Googling every single thing? Because I'll Google against you, and all I need to do is be more compelling than you, and you need to be either more compelling than me to be consistent, not right. Because it doesn't mean you're right, and it doesn't mean I'm right, but it does mean that you have an opinion. But it doesn't need to be a consistency. Lunch is late. Oh, Cam, late lunch. Nice. How's it, John? How are you keeping? I'm having a little vent. No, I'm not venting. I'm lost. I'm homeless. I've absolutely no place in society to say anything anymore. I'm homeless. Well, John, Fiona went to a local pub, running around wildly again. Oh, sorry, no, concert. There we go. Here we go. Lots of scientific research come out proving that it has many side effects. Do your due diligence. I'm actually living proof. I've had 3 already. And the most side effects I've had is stress about actually getting through this podcast the stream every Sunday evening without somebody crucifying me or actually boring people to death in the process. Research from my side is I've had more people die next to me from COVID than die from even assumed COVID vaccinations. So I'm not saying that no one dies from a COVID vaccine. What I'm saying is people die from medicine every day. People die from side effects of medication every day. People who have been given medication in hospitals, who have been given medication, people die from aspirin because they're allergic to aspirin, but people die from other things as well, other medication, etc., etc. I'm not saying that it is not possible. All I'm saying is it cannot be the only reason. That's what I'm saying, because whenever it happens, it says, see, we told you, and that is not the conversation that you should be having with people, because it is so consistent. It means I am right. I told you I was right. The answer to that is, if it was true, then you could say his complication was due to a side effect of the vaccine. Okay. Not I was right and see, we told you, the world's all wrong and you're going to die and you're now going to hell and all that type of stuff, etc., etc. If there was a death from a complication due to a side effect from a vaccine, then that is a fact. And you know what? We all agree to it then. And we carry on and we go and have a beer. But we're so busy needing to throw the pie in somebody's face that we actually forget to be friends. Yeah, Debbie says, I had blood clots in my lung from COVID. Who can say it's still alive to tell the story? Yeah. Alison, hello, my beautiful lady from the Bay. Alison, in the old days, 19-year-olds were not dropping dead from heart attacks. In the old days, they didn't have the stress of today. 19-year-olds weren't committing suicide, or 16-year-olds weren't committing suicide as badly as what they are these days as well. Society has put a lot more than COVID into the public these days as well, which is also a fact. I'm not going to come up for vaccines by all means. You know what? Your opinion is your opinion. If you feel that vaccines are killing people, I greet you now because I'm probably going to die very soon. But other than that, people die from side effects consistently every single day, and more people than ever have had that vaccine. So I would assume that the percentage to actually have a side effect would be higher, which is a tragedy as such. Would the opposite have been different? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I am not a learned person. I'm not a professor to call the shot. All I'm saying is I'm not prepared to throw it in your face. So whether you believe it or not, guys, that sure is okay, but I'm still your friend. That's cool. And what I'm saying is the same with China. I'm not actually wanting to have a debate on the vaccine at the moment. I'm trying to get an idea of how right people need to be in any form of conversation more. And unfortunately, as I said, I did pee on a electric fence. I knew I was going to do it, but it's the same as what I'm getting with China. You're going to a human concentration camp. You wouldn't catch me dead there. If I ended up there, they'd probably throw me out of the country. They watch and yeah, you too much. You are so controlled over there. You have no freedom whatsoever. All you're going to do is be overloaded with work. And then I can watch videos that give me exactly the opposite. I watch videos that show me how a communistic warmongering, suppressing country China is, and then I get a video of what a free, releasing, safe, wonderful country it is. I mean, I give you a little bit of perspective now. Quickly, let me just run through, try and keep up with the comments. More concerned about CBDC, difficult times ahead. Yeah. I'm also living walking proof for myself. Alison, how's it, Alison? Yeah. My sister wrote me off as I had to have the jab and said I'd die and have X, Y, Z. You know what? This is what I'm saying. Don't write people off. I mean, I know Chris doesn't believe in the vaccine. Bum, point blank. He's actually an anti it. That's fine. I still like Chris, and I'm still going to tell you to go and tune into Chris's channel. And I think he's probably one of the most up-to-date news and reviews person that there is. And I'm not going to change my perspective on that. Ronaldo doesn't really want to actually touch the subject. He's not going to pro it. He's not going to against it. He's had to have it for certain reasons. Well, let me put it to you this way. I wouldn't have a job if I didn't have it. And fact, people were released because of that. Whether it was right or whether it was wrong was not the option. Was not the problem right there. The problem was we have a scenario in the country where it was you will or you won't be there. There was no like let's get human rights lawyers and start picketing in the streets. It was like the Prime Minister said you will, and the parents said you will, and so you did. Fear porn works effectively. Yeah. Every nurse, doctor I know have been vaccinated at least twice, and none have died or had side effects. You see, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I really didn't want to actually have a vaccine debate over here, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that no one has not died from a side effect from the vaccine. I'm sure somebody has, but all I'm saying is, was the latter, or should I say, was the latter more effective? Just because you didn't die from COVID and you didn't have the vaccine? Great, well done. You're a lucky one. You know what? I didn't die from COVID, and I had the vaccine, and I had COVID twice, and I'm still walking around, and I haven't died from the vaccine yet. And you know what? I'm probably going to go for a fourth shot before I go to China. If I have to, I will. If not, three's good. I really don't care. It doesn't bug me. You know what? I've had tattoos put on me. That's ink under the skin. I mean, I never asked them how clean that ink was and where it came from. I know it all looked very sterile and stuff to that effect, etc., etc. Nobody checked the ink, and nobody's actually worried about it. And it tattooed onto there. I know people that sniff E and smoke this and have sucked that through a pipe and all kinds of stuff, etc., etc. And you know, if anything happens to them, Well, that's a kind of side effect from something else. But so I'm not by any chance saying no, because people have died from a diagnosis of, doctors can only do that much, and they are paid to give their best opinions and study to actually make the correct decisions. But even racing drivers practice and become the best racing drivers under the sun, and they hit a wall one day, or they have an accident one day, or an oversteer, or a stuntman, or whatever. Somebody does have something happen to him. And so people do die from side effects from medication. I have no doubt that people have died effect from the side effects of the vaccine. I just have a doubt to the fact that everything is its fault at the moment. That's all I have. I do believe that there may be a little bit of a higher number because of the higher amount of people who have needed to take the vaccine. As I said, if the latter was there, then so be it. But I've just had more people die around me. My cousins within a day of each other, a friend, my friend's father. There's another one or two people that aren't that close, but that I know. But the thing is, but I haven't had anyone die on me with a vaccine yet. So, you know what? What am I going to argue? What is in my little mind? What is my best knowledge? How many YouTube videos and people's rantings, or just going to say basically, Lord, it's a mad world down here. There's a lot of stress and pressure in the world these days as well. I mean, COVID itself, forget vaccines, COVID itself put an amazing amount of pressure on everybody, an amazing amount of pressure on businesses, an amazing amount of pressure on people just delivering or getting, earning an income. How many people lost their work? How many businesses closed down? How many people committed suicide? Literally, because they didn't know where they were going to get bread or the next paycheck from. How many were left homeless? Um, you want to know, kids? We picked up essays from children the other day from students. How do you feel about your exams? And it's a teacher who's actually really good with them. So he has won their honesty, if I can put it this way. They feel that they can be honest with him. And the absolute honesty that came out in those exams was heart-renderingly embarrassing for me to say that we do not care as much as what we should do about the precious commodity we have. And we do not realize the pressure that these kids have on them these days, that they put into school and into delivering and into making. You know what? I'm not going to get into university, and I'll never have a life if I don't. I mean, certain kids have just, it's amazing the amount of pressure that society just puts onto them. Kids come to school the last day of school. People are like, oh, they haven't been to school for the last 3 days or whatever. They'll never be at the last day. They come to school the last day because that's the only day they get to see their friends again. Because once they get home, they're behind closed doors, and it's not like, oh, you're going to play by so and so's house again today, and you come back. It's not like that. Let me just go through the chat again. Let's Alison say everybody's body's different and reacts differently. Yes, I agree 100%, Alison. That's what I'm saying. And we should and everybody is different as a person and reacts differently to different topics. It doesn't necessarily mean we need to crucify them for them. That's the whole point that I'm trying to make. I'm going to China. Do you need to crucify me for it? Especially if you haven't been there and experienced it yourself. I've had the vaccine. Do you need to crucify me for it? Do you know my reasons behind it and my experiences? I've played a game that I really enjoy that somebody else is nailing the hell out of. Is that a problem? Why? So and so's a singer. Is she a R&B singer or is she a rap singer? Does it matter? Are we going to now hit Google Streets because of that and that? This person won 6 Oscars. No, I think it was actually 8. Doesn't matter. He won Oscars. It was great. Do we need to Google to be right, to be consistent, to rub it in someone's face consistently? Or do we need to be friends? And this is the point that I'm making. People are different. Bodies react differently. But so do people react differently. Alison, my body doesn't retain or hold any jabs anyway. Another. Some people could known about it before and could medically not take it. I mean, that was physical knowledge. I mean, some people got a certificate to say, look, you know what, my body can't take it, whatever. But I don't want it to be a jab thing. I actually want this to be a thing about how necessary is it for you to be consistent in your conversation and consistently being right, or being consistent. And being right means sometimes you need to be able to say, you know what, you might be right, or you know what, it doesn't matter, or consistent by, listen, I am right. What's it? You have dodgy, shitty, knockoff Chinese vaccines. Not all deaths can be contributed to the COVID jab. Yeah, some people, I don't know. I heard conspiracies of some people being given saline. Some people were having placebo. Some people were throwing mind over matter. Some people were being charged for nothing. My twin son for still all good. There we go. By the way, I had a vaccine, get COVID twice. Yeah, no, I had a vaccine 3 times, got COVID twice. I'm really not worried right now about getting it again, getting a vaccine again. I feel I've now done my duty to get vaccinated. So nothing's pressurizing me into it. If I had to be pressurized into it again, it wouldn't bother me. But right now, I feel COVID has generated to the fact where it actually becomes just a seriously easily spread pneumonia type of thing at the moment. No one's filling hospitals with it at the moment. I think we've evolved to the point where it is now a what's the word? Not malignant. A where you get kind of sick from it, so that you are able. So, but you go home and you recover. You can infect people a lot, infectious disease. So you shouldn't be let around in public. It's like measles. It's like you get measles, you go home, you go and sit in the dark room, and you recover, and you come back to school again. COVID, same thing now. You go home, you recover, you come back again. I think we've got to that stage in COVID. We haven't got to the stage where we're now having people die on it. I think we've got to a certain type of control, a certain type of handling. But as I said, once again, it's to everybody's ease. It doesn't matter how you view it and how you see it. You're still my friend. Folks on both sides was hell bent on being correct. That's the thing, come what may. And did it matter? Does it matter? I don't care if you don't want the vaccine. You're okay. But how's your heart, buddy? You're a good man. There's nothing wrong with it. If you want it, you're okay. How's your heart? You're a good man. If you didn't want it and you got it, you're okay. How's your heart? You're a good man. If you did want it and didn't get it because you didn't get the opportunity, you're okay. Does it really, really matter? That's my question. Does it matter if I'm going to China? Does it matter if I'm playing a game? Does it matter? Does my friendship matter? Does your friendship with somebody around you matter? Is it so necessary to be consistent these days in anything? People seem to find that the destruction of persons or items around them is more important to stay on top of than to actually keep the link of humanity between each other. Let me carry on in the chats because I'm lagging so far behind. It doesn't prevent you from getting the illness. Yeah, no. As I said, I didn't really want this to become a jab thing. I knew I was peeing on an electric fence, but I'm sorry. Do they bry octopus in China? Any castle lager, smokle it in. Did I get it right? Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure they bry octopus. I don't know about Castle Light, but I think they've got beer because I did have beer last night as I wiped a tear out of my eye for the sake of South Africa's win. I don't know. I know they say a win is a win, and I think that's what they're going to stick to for last night because, yeah, we'll leave it at that. They won. Scarp Chop versus Vax. What is more dangerous? Yeah. I probably find a scarp chop kills me more these days with my cholesterol levels. Never judged anyone, each one to themselves. There we go. Travel dictated me. Yeah. So many people were put under pressure, and as I say, it was just at Josie and Colonel Chris White just going to get Gesype Tappers bar in PE soon. Yeah. Johnson, the vaccine never promised to stop you from getting COVID. It's there to help you from dying. Yes, that was my point as well. My point as well is that never said, no one ever said you wouldn't get it. It just said that it would assist you in not dying. And I do believe that if you were dying from COVID, you wouldn't give a damn what they put into your body. You'd ask them to put anything into your body to keep you alive. It's amazing what you'll accept when you're dying. But when you're on top, it's amazing what you'll dictate. But yeah. Don't mention the rugby. It's safe. Bet Springboks don't win the World Cup. Oh, jeez. Dude, don't say that to me. I'm telling you, I had my last Saigon beer last night, and every time I took a sip, I've got to sip this beer so that they can do something. And I obviously didn't drink enough beer because they didn't do much. I was rather disappointed with their win. We'll call it a win and say a win is a win. Yeah, that'd be a good meet. I'd still love to meet the colonel. I'd love to chat with him. As I said, I have no problems. I think he's probably one of the most learned people that there are there. I'd love to meet every single one of you. I have had the privilege and opportunity of meeting some of you. I've met Ronaldo, and I have had the absolute wonderful privilege of meeting Alison, who is an absolute stunning young lady. May I tell you that, with such a genuine heart. Really, it doesn't matter what you say. You've got my respect a long time ago. You know what? You're such a fair person as well. So well done there. Buzzy says, to each their own. I never had the vac, never caught it, got very bad bronchitis, which turned into pneumonia. Each person must make their own choices. Yeah, that's it. I fully agree. Own choice, but don't lose friendships about it. Don't have heated arguments about it. I have friends who need to Google everything to prove right. Is that necessary? This is what I'm saying. Is it necessary to lose friendships to be consistent and to be consistently right? Or is it okay just to be friends? It doesn't matter. Whether I had 6 beers and you had 4, or whether you had 6 beers and I had 4, or did we each have 5? Doesn't matter. I was not COVID, but mental power hungry government. I'm afraid COVID did open up opportunities, but there we go into different views and news again. The government doesn't view the fact that they exploited COVID. We do. Sadly, that's a fact. They exploited COVID. There are different ways and means of doing it, and I think some countries handled it more practically well. I mean, for instance, South Africa, absolutely, what do they say in Afrikaans? Ruk de dam onder die eendheid, or het is Sambreel en 'n man se hol oopgemaak. And they had like protests of no vac and I won't vac. And then I think Cambodia handled it beautifully. It was like everybody gets vaxxed and nobody gets locked up, and that's cool. And we did have some lockups at times, and it did hit hard, especially in tourism. It hit the tourist people hard and that type of stuff. But nowhere did we stop smokes and stop drinking and all of that type of stuff. It was really... We're looking at Ireland, Rugby World Cup, Ireland. Debbie! Sadly, I think it's going to be the All Blacks. I think the exploitation of what occurs. Let me be honest with you. The exploitation of what occurs. Now, I'm not only going to talk about COVID. I'm going to talk about the same thing that is happening to me with going to China, where I'm getting absolutely horror stories and I'm getting a little bit of motivation. But people are exploiting it. The exploitation of it is the problem, not the action, not the actual thing, the exploitation of it. Because one person, as I said, sent me a video of China, and I'm going to give you two examples. One person sent me a video of China where the kids were learned at school, and they were learning to drill, and they were learning to shoot, and they were learning, and it was little kids learning to put guns together and disarm, take apart pistols and put pistols together and firing pistols and that. And the little guy says, well, you know what, I just want to kill Americans and stuff like that, etc., etc. And wow, and I looked at it and I thought, well, don't all countries have that? I mean, South Africa has their doomsday preppers. America has their preppers, and I've seen them before as well. I've also seen videos like that on it, and so I don't believe that they don't exist. But all I'm saying is I don't believe that that dominates. And then I got someone who was showing us how safe and how phenomenally fantastic the streets of China. And I'm walking around and I haven't been stabbed. And look at this over here. And it's beautiful and it's clean and it's neat. It's tidy. And I walk down the side street here and it's clean and it's neat and it's tidy. And I walk down the side street there. And and everything is beautiful. And then he shows you a picture of, and this is America, and you see like these homeless tents and fires and people standing around the drums and do I have a smoke? And well, you know what? Once again, I do believe all places have all countries have that place as well as what they have their lovely place. It's a matter of perspective, and all you did is you took your camera and you put them in different perspectives. So the one, America looked great, and the other they didn't. Let me give you another example. We had people that came over from Canada. What's it? Those who paid for the price of jab got saline to obtain mock certificates. I've heard a lot of it. I'm not going to go through to go through the jab anymore because, as I said, I actually just peed on an electric fence. It's my own fault, but it's a perspective, and often we are the result of a warped media because media needs to sell hysteria. If it doesn't create hysteria, if it doesn't create death, or it doesn't create hot chicks, it's not going to sell. Fact. So we are the result of a warped media. And we had Canadian people, and this was like way back in the 80s still, and they were beside themselves worried because they'd booked tickets and everything to come through to us. And all they saw was these riots and cops and beatings and fires and everything. And they decided, well, South Africa's a war zone. We're cancelling. We said, don't cancel your tickets. Just come through. And they were like, the country's at war. It's in an absolute state of devastation. You know, they had visions of Mad Max scenario happening in South Africa. Anyway, they eventually did come and they landed and greeted them at the airport, and there was nobody throwing anything at them in the airport and everything like that. Took them to the car in the parking lot, and they were like really worried because now we're going to go into the streets. And we went and we drove home. It's like, where is the war? Where are these protests? What's happening? And yes, it was happening in South Africa. It was happening in certain areas in South Africa. You know what? The EFF makes a big shebang or whatever, but it doesn't make it all over the country. It chooses its little target area. Or whoever, with the riots and that were in certain areas. So when they came in, that the media had created South Africa to look like a dystopian war zone. And when they got here, it's like, where is this? And we're like, yes, it does, but we avoid that area. You know what? Because we're not stupid enough to go and drive through it. You go home here and you stay there and you stay in there, but you avoid that area there. And sadly, if you come to looking at certain things, it is owned by the media. Are we stupid enough to lose friends because of the media? Is the next question I have to ask in that sense then. Are we stupid enough to lose friends because of the media? Are we that stupid that we need to be so right? Or am I allowed to have my opinion and you allowed to have yours? And so that's okay. Not a problem. America in 1988 honestly found them more racist than South Africa was. Never saw beggars there in dysfunction. Yeah, there we go. Media is owned by special interest groups pushing their own narratives. You know, the sad part is media propaganda gets it right every time to manipulate the majority of society. That's the sad part. July 2022, vandalism was the worst I've known. Yeah. And it wasn't a country, it was it was in large areas and across the country. But yeah, we talk 101 different topics, and reality is one of them. Sorry, I hope I'm not. Sorry, I hope I'm not into Helen. I'm not too sure, Helene. I'm not too sure if you're upset with what I've said or whatever. I do apologize if I have upset anyone. What I have tried to bring out the point is, when in conversation with people, is my point of view at the moment, is when in conversation with people, how important is it for you to be consistent, to be than to be right, and is it worth a friendship? Because nobody is the same. So the fact of the matter is, leave an opinion, sometimes be supportive, agree to disagree. And I hate that word, actually. That's such a cliche. Agree to disagree is such a cliche, because it's important to be able to keep friends more than what it is to be right sometimes. Sometimes it's okay. And I'm not saying just believe Fani the liar down the road or something like that, who keeps on lying. What's the one Afrikaans saying goes, hy lieg so hard, hy glo himself. He lies so loudly, or he lies so consistently, he believes himself. As I said, I knew I was going to touch a vein in the when I brought up the vax thing, and I actually I did it because I wanted to, but I also realized I was going to open up a wound. But I've been receiving a lot more, as I said, negativity on, or should I say, conflict in going to China. And then I actually heard the games guy. But yeah, nobody talks about it anymore, Helian. It's not, as I said, it's not that I wanted to actually have a COVID discussion. My discussion is more about the fact that how important is it for you to be right? It should, and hopefully it is gone. Yes, it is a tail end of a thing, but I was just using it as an example. How important is it for you to be right in a conversation? How important is it for you to insult or lose a friend? Then is it to be able to just actually compromise and carry on? How important is it for people? And as I said, it came out actually more from a gaming conversation, because of people who were like, this game sucks. And the person is going, no, but we enjoy it. But this is going to be dead in this year. This is better. Doesn't matter if I enjoy this game and you enjoy that game. Can we not be gamers? If you believe this or you believe that, as I said, my actual experience at the moment is my biggest experience is I'm currently having, that is current for me. As I said, because I'm moving to China, I've had a lot of negativity from certain people, and then I've had people who've been pretty supportive about it. My concern is that it's a lot of people that I know, and I've got to the point where some people are pretty sort of like, I don't want to say angry, but they're to the point where they actually resent that I'm actually going, type of thing. And I'm like, I have never been there, so I can't argue your fact. However, what I have been given on a plate at the moment is a really good opportunity. I do have a reverse plan. If something at all goes south, I have a place back in Cambodia where I can come to. I am able to find work within 1 month. So I might be, I should be okay in that sense, but I do want to put the step ahead and go on a bit of an adventure. That is actually where it came from the most of the time. And my point is, if, especially a lot of the people who are saying that have never been there, by the way. Funnily enough, the people I'm getting support from are the people who have actually worked there. So very, very strange. The rest of the people run media, and that's why I've gone to media part again, because it's like, this is what the media, and they have sent me videos going, yeah, check this video out, check this video out. And you can find anything to back yourself. But once again, you know what? We're friends. Was it so important for you to be right that you would resent a friendship that we've been for the last 4.5, nearly 5 years, than what it is for you to just go, well, I don't agree with it, but are the best. I have a friend who says that as well. It says, "Look, I wouldn't do it, but I really hope that it works out great for you." Thank you. I appreciate that. He has his reasons, but he's not actually slandering me for them. He's not actually sending me messages and videos on them. Um, and that's the strong thing that I'm working with at the moment. And then, as I said, when it came out with the gaming as well, and then they actually started saying, the one guy, Asmongold, I don't know if any of you watch gaming guys, actually said that in a disagreement these days, it is so, how important is it for someone to be consistent rather than to be right? And it is so debatable in a heated debate. People are becoming the result of a more compelling person than what it needs to be a correct answer. And my point again came to the fact of the matter is that before we had Google, before we had any of this type of YouTube, you had TV news that was probably not as hectic as what it is now, but that was about it. Otherwise, you had encyclopedias, etc., etc. But we basically just came to an agreement. Well, we're not too sure, so it's cool. So yeah, that's where I'm coming to. I'm not actually wanting to grab onto any certain point, than to more reasoning of the fact that when you come into debate, or when you come in to discuss things with people, or when your opinion matters, do you resent someone whose opinion differs to you, or are you happy to actually have that person with a good heart? Because I've got a lot of people. I have a friend, and he's actually one of my best friends in South Africa. Now I'm going to go back onto Vax again, and I don't want to. He will prove me wrong. He will actually convince me wrong, and he 130,000% he will prove me wrong scientifically. He will prove me wrong biblically, everything, the whole toots. But you know what? He's still my best friend, because he will tell me everything. That's how I feel. But he's as good as gold to me, and I will be as good as gold to him. I would take a bullet for him, and he'd take a bullet for me. Mind you, I don't know why people would take a bullet for each other. It's pretty painful. Every country, there's good, bad, and ugly. No talking about the movies, varies in degrees also. Yeah, sometimes you've just got to actually bring it out. And what I've tried to say is that there's people with different opinions. And you know what? You end up with friends. Friends will never be who you are. When you marry somebody, I think it's really important that you find somebody as close as possible to your likings, because you're going to have to stay together for the rest of your life. But when you have friends, you've got to accept that friends are never going to be exactly like you want them to be. However, that does not mean that they are not good people. And it is very important that we cherish it in that way. Now, once you've lived in China, you can update us in exact. I'd love to do that. As I said, I'd like to put that there. The world, yeah, true, Hendo, the world's gone mad. It has, if we want to take a look at it, it has put a lot of pressure onto everything. As I said, to the point, I mean, we can go into wokeism if you want to. I just actually, because I agree with you 100%, Marlene. The hind tit of a vaccine has been sucked dry already. It is a dead horse being flogged. China, I think there's a debate that still continues, especially with the feelings on that between the States and Europe and China and Russia and everything, and Ukraine that at the moment. I fully agree. Politically, I think it's tense. For me, nothing is politically motivated at the moment. I'm actually just on an adventure, midlife crisis, if you'd like to call it that. But I would like to probably tell a little more. I'd like to give you my point of view. I know there's another guy from that reports on China that can't stop singing their praises from here to Cairo. I disagree kind of with him very, very much, because I think he's just trying to kiss somebody's behind. But I'm not going to go there, because that can actually get my behind kicked. But yeah, so I'm not going to do that, but I'd like to give it to you from a practical point of view, from my point of view as such. The grass is only green where you water it, and it makes your home. Yeah, it's the same when I came. The first thing I said when I came to Cambodia is, what the hell have I done? And yeah, I what's your name? I'll share my biltong, the rest I'll hide. Priced encyclopedia books. But pineapple all the way. No, I don't like pineapple. No pineapple on pizza. Was it on pizza? No. No, it's not a problem, Helena. We don't sit and talk about it all the time. It's, as I said, it came up as an example, but I know it's a flogged out thing, and it's more of the narrative that I actually wanted out of this stream today is when you're in conversation, is it important to be right or is it important to have a friend? And I'm not saying believe everybody's lies, but how is it important for you to destroy somebody? And how important is it for you to keep a good person? And we're never all the same. And if we can accept each other's iniquities and carry on, I can go ahead with wokeism if we want to take a look at that. We can go through LGBTQ if we want to take a look at that. We can go into many, many different lines. It's as I say, it just happened. Usually we have different topics. Today just became a bit of a controversial topic because I have had this situation, and sometimes I just talk what's happening in my life, and it's just something that has happened in my life of late, that I've had to deal with, that I sometimes just share with everyone, and I question the fact of, you know what, by all means I might be wrong. It might be, Andre, you know what, you're wrong. You need to have a strong opinion, and if people are not going to agree with your opinion, then you should not have them around you, and therefore you cut ties with them, and you go and stick with those people that share the same opinion as you. Then I'm wrong. Then that is the right way to do things. But otherwise, no. Um, I want to know that it's why. And once again, you set it up there. The world's gone mad. Pressure has been put into the world. As I said, you can go. It's not only going through a COVID, a vaccine, a China, but you can go through wokeness, LGBT, cancel culture. What do you relate as these days? It's amazing what you can go through these days, and the conversations that are not allowed to be had anymore. I mean, they used to say, "Don't speak about sport, religion, and politics, and you're okay." There were three things. Don't chat about those three things, which I still disagree on, because I don't see why you should not be able to have a hearty conversation about how you feel. And the person on the other side may not agree with you, but could respect you for your feeling, unless, as I said, you're being an absolute ass and resenting the person about it. But, excuse me, but these days it has what they would say in Afrikaans, rukt hand uit. And I just wanted to know how people feel about things having to ruk hand uit, because friendships should not be ruined because of it. What do you say? Well, you survived Cambodia. The pooches don't care. My dogs are the most wonderful, should I say, unjudging people ever. That's why I will pay the world for them to come with me. Because of this nonsense, yeah. Well, I'm pleased. That's a good trait to have. You don't have to destroy friendships for it. That's great. Wow, it's insane. It is. Kruger, where are you? Chinese authorities won't trust you with a tuk-tuk, Andre. Oh, Chinese authorities. They will love me. I thought I had this real similarity to Buddha, as I could say. It's it's an amazing similarity. I just need to smile, cross my legs, sit back, you rub my tummy, and good luck comes your way. I must say our weather's, and it's not cold, but it has become a little bit more bearable than what the April, May, June heat is in Cambodia. But I do believe that you guys are suffering phenomenal cold strokes over there. So yeah, that's another thing people argue about, and that's why I say don't argue about it. By all means, discuss it, but discuss it amicably. Global warming, is Greta right? Is she wrong? I can throw a whole bunch of things in the thing. Bottom line, what I'm Buddha. Bottom line is what I'm wanting to say. Right, rub my tummy for luck. Yes, you rub my tummy, you get double luck. I'm telling you, that's the biggest thing of theirs. Anyway, I'm not going to push the buck as it goes. As I said, unfortunately, I think I might have touched a controversial subject this evening, and I did not want it to actually turn out into an argument about that, because my actual chat this evening was Is it necessary to burn a bridge with a friend when you feel that it is necessary for your opinion to be highlighted? I think we've got to the end of our hour, and we're going to keep it there. Greta Doomsberg's sock puppet, whatever. But it's important that we realize that everybody is a unique person and that we don't need to beat anyone down. It's also important that you know that you do not necessarily win, or you do not necessarily find popularity by always destroying somebody else. Somebody else's dream might not be aligned with yours. Somebody else's view might not be aligned with yours. That's not of importance. The importance is, what is the person like that you are with or that you are conversing with? What is that person's heart like? Is that a good person? Doesn't matter. As I said, I have a friend that is totally of the opposite view to me, and his heart is of gold. And I wouldn't change him for the world. I wouldn't change him for anyone even similar to me, because I have people that I know that are, well, that I thought were friends and are highly educated people, degrees, the lot, etc., and are toxic. And I don't understand why. I don't understand why it is necessary. I don't understand why it is necessary to become destructive, to be consistent, because you need to be right. I don't understand why Google rules the world and not friendship and caring anymore. It has actually become to the point where it is quite tense that the subjects and the media and uh, any discussion point actually becomes a problem when it comes to a friendship. And it's so vitally important that we hit that. How should I say that we hit the point where we look at the person's heart, not the mind, not the opinion. Look at the actions. I'm going to end with one thing and say to you, you can pretty much judge a person, and don't crucify me for this one because it's just a saying. You can pretty much judge a person on how they treat an animal. My friends, I thank you for a very controversial evening. I did not mean it to get that bad. I do apologize if it has stood on any toes or anything to that effect. But we shall have a little bit more of an uplifting one next week then again, and I shall try and find a better subject, maybe take a last walk through the streets or something to that effect. We are supposed to be on leave this week, but everyone is on leave, but they have found my replacement, so I am going to be going into work this week so that I can hand over to my replacement. How lucky am I? But have a good time. Take care of your animals. Be good to each other. Don't kill each other just for consistency and to be right. And remember, if you can't be good, at least be kind. Cheers.